I call Paul Goldsmith.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And I hesitate to stand up in front of my learned chair on this select committee, but I would like to have my say on this important bill, the Waitaki District Council Reserves and Other Land Empowering Bill. And I was glad to hear from the previous speaker his congratulations to the excellent member for Waitaki, Jackie Dean. But though I thought he was rather unkind in suggesting that there was some nervousness in the part of the local constituency about what the National Party's intentions were. I mean, given the fact that this member has 14,140 majority, 14,140 overbearing monks. Indeed, this person who has been held up to be, there have been the number of people voting for Jackie Dean, and I think that is a great testament to the popularity of that member in the local environment, and a testament to the hard work and the support that the National Party. There was a member who spoke earlier, Mr. Parker, David Parker. He used to be a member in this area, I believe, some time ago, and I understand that he tried to deal with the situation that we are dealing with in this bill, but failed to make any progress on what turned out to be a difficult and intractable issue. Yes, it was funny enough that member did indeed come up to Epsom, and he failed to have much traction in that area either. Indeed, he spoke with a great deal. He spoke with a great deal of clarity on a number of issues in the Epsom electorate, but I don't think he gained a lot of sympathy with the locals. To be sure, I don't know. The people of Epsom do tend to be focused on understanding the importance of enterprise in the development of this country and its economy, and I don't think Mr. Parker's messages around extra taxes and capital gains resonated very well with the locals up there, and so he went on. But I do think, nevertheless, David Parker would make a fine leader of the Labour Party if he had an opportunity, because... But fundamentally, Mr. Speaker, this bill is about fixing an error that was made back in 1937, where this land was mistakenly vested in the Waitaki District Council as a reserve. And we all make mistakes, Mr. Speaker, and indeed sometimes politicians, sometimes political parties make mistakes when they're choosing leaders, when they're deciding where the future of the party is going to be, and I suppose we have to reap the consequences of our mistakes, and there comes a time where you have to set them right, and it'll be interesting to see whether over the next few days the Labour Party rectify what may have been a mistake. Sorry, do I need to shorten things? Right. So getting back to Waitaki then, interestingly, this bill really harks back. This bill really harks back to history. When we look at this land, which was originally purchased by the government from Ngāi Tahu in 1848 as part of the Kemp Purchase, it was then part of the original subdivision of the town of Oamaru. And then we go on to 1885, when the land was set aside as an endowment in aid of funds for the benefit of the then Oamaru Borough Council. Now, I heard another member, Chris Finlayson, in the general debate today talking about history. He was talking about the history of the Labour Party, which is going to be the subject of a seminar. And it's interesting with focusing on the success of Norm Kirk. Well, I'd be very interested to hear some of the reports, because what you had here was celebrating the ability of taking a 23-seat majority in 1992 and converting it into a 23-seat loss in 75, and yet this is still held up as a great moment in history for the Labour Party to go from 23 majority to 23 loss. I'm sorry, 72 to 75. So, I'm sorry about that, but it's interesting. That was a remarkable period in our history to go from such support in 1972 to 75 being in a great deal of trouble. So anyway, I'm getting back to 1885 in that period where this land was set aside as an endowment in aid of funds for the benefit of the Oamaru Borough Council. And you can't help but go back to 1885, a very interesting time in New Zealand's history where this nation was being developed. And somebody's trying to put me off. Where this nation was growing. And when we look back at the seeds of that success in New Zealand in the 19th century, what do we see? We see the innovation that was so important to the farming communities around Oamaru, where it became a successful city and a prosperous part of New Zealand. And we looked at the export markets and the fact that New Zealand at the time had great access to the United Kingdom and was able to sell its produce around the world. And then we looked at the skilled workforce that was ready and eager to work on the farms and to build with that Oamaru stone that beautiful city which we now visit and understand and love. And then the development of infrastructure that was so important to the nation and the development of the city, linking it with Tunaru, linking it with Dunedin and with Christchurch. And then we think about the natural resources that the people who came from the other side of the world to Oamaru set up their farms and discovered the gold up in the hills not far from Oamaru, and the fruit and vegetables and the grass from the land. And then we also think about the capital markets that they were able to draw upon through sovereign funds from London in order to grow and develop. And when we think about these are all the things that this government is talking about in its business growth agenda, which is the heart and soul of what this government is trying to achieve here in this country. And all those things that are so crucial now were indeed still crucial back in 1885, where this land which we're talking about here today was set aside as an endowment in aid of funds for the benefit of the Oamaru Borough Council. I just wanted to reassert or underline the importance of all those elements of the business growth agenda, which I think cannot be repeated enough in this House, because that is what this government is focusing on and what it's all about. I just want to draw back, if I may, in the last few minutes that we have available to us, to some of the intricacies of this bill, because when we reached 1935 and there was an administrative oversight which saw this piece of land mistakenly vested in the Waitaki District Council as a reserve, we found that as a result of this confusion and the result of the semantics, the reserved land was endowed instead of, it should have been endowed instead of reserved, and as it was intended, we had a long period of time where there was some confusion over the exact status of this land. And so the Council has been working closely with Land Information New Zealand, with Ngāi Tahu, with the Department of Conservation, with the Commissioner of Crown Lands, and indeed with the member for Waitaki, the very fine Jackie Dean, who worked tirelessly and meticulously to try and work her way through the complications of this situation to bring it to such a happy result as we have today, where we have reached the second reading and we're not far off from resolving once and for all this issue, so that the local council can have the ability to have the flexibility of arrangements that it needs in order to continue to serve its community successfully in a way that does not unduly burden them with rates. And I was glad that the previous speaker did mention the local government amendment bill that will be coming back to the House, because that is an excellent piece of legislation, and certainly the thing that people around my neighbourhood are most concerned about is about the costs of local government, and this bill will deal with it in a particular way, and a particular way of great importance to the people of Oamaru. But the wider legislation that will be coming down the track before too long, which will start start to deal with some of those four well-beings that have led to a massive growth in local government spending over the last decade, and get local government focused back on its essentials, such as dealing with its reserve and endowment lands and moving the community forward. Now, just getting back onto Ngāi Tahu, who took considerable advice in the development of this legislation, they confirmed to the council that it was their view that the Waitaki District Council has...
Sorry to interrupt the honourable member.
Oh.
His time has expired. Well, yeah, order. This is a split call, so...